How would it feel to have a thriving fitness business and have the freedom to enjoy life at the fullest? Well, that is exactly what the Trainer Revenue Multiplier Show is going to give you. My name is Mathew Park. This is Jaime Filer.
Hey guys.
And we are here to serve. Every month, I get to hang once a month with this celebrity, the fantastic Filer. It is my favorite time for podcasting. It is our time. Fantastic Filer, always a pleasure. How are you today?
Professor Park, I'm doing exceptionally well. Going to Orlando with one of my sponsors for the weekend to work the USA Games. So I'm really stoked about that.
Is that the Muscle Egg company?
Yeah, it's the liquid egg whites company.
They're probably going to have you in a tank top like this, exposing your muscles a bit,
If they don't, it would be a waste of my talent. So
this is agreed. Well, you're just going to go on the table and be like, yeah, guys, I'm going to buy some muscle egg for me,
That's it. This body is fueled by TRM gold and muscle egg.
I love it. Well, you know what? This is going to help even more for sales. I love it. It's going to be amazing, Jaime.
I think so.
But I love our time every month. We get to hang together. We get to talk about a concept or business concept. And you just finished teaching TRM Gold this week, 24 modules, TRM Gold, our brand new program. It was just off the charts. Went from 12 to 24 modules. You killed it, as you always do, mentoring and teaching our clients. And the reviews have been insane. But this concept of the business wheel came out as you taught this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if you heard any feedback on the call, but I've been kind of hearing feedback from people about how the wheel was kind of cool. What a way to finish the program. What was kind of your thoughts, Jaime, on kind of seeing that business wheel concept from the training?
It was hard to put into words, but I think Darren said it best. He's like, this is the most perfect summary of the last 24 weeks. It really encapsulated every concept we taught, from the psychology to the strategy to the marketing to the systems, right? Essentially our pillars. And this is in the way that you broke it down in the last few slides to explain the bullet points of what each one meant, and then how areas for improvement or growth, again, within each different silo, I just thought was so comprehensive, well done, allowed people to take actionable steps away from the module. It was perfect, really perfect.
It's one of those things that whether you're at 10K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month, doesn't really matter, because the concepts, whether you're 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, really the wheel works for all your business model.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. I think you mentioned, it's funny because I spoke to Darren as well, and you were talking to Darren. So we're talking to Darren a lot these days, you and I. And it's funny, he mentioned about he had never seen actually a concept like that before.
Totally.
Summing it all up. And it's funny because when you do it, you realize, oh my gosh, there's these 4 things I really excelled at, and there's these 4 things I could probably do better at,
Yeah.
And I love how you taught, of course, shared and taught everybody in the program. But then even for us as mentors, as helping lead the team and grow, we're like, even I'm like, still like, where can we improve? Right?
Oh, of course. Yeah. And again, I think it doesn't matter whether you're at the 3,500 per month mark or the 35,000 per month mark. I mean, we all need the reminder to recharge, for example, right? So it never doesn't apply.
Yeah. I'm curious, because your journey in TRM is just so incredible. And so you think about when you first began TRM, I know we're kind of going a little bit, I just want to kind of share this because the wheel kind of could relate to this a bit.
Sure.
What concepts, if you had the wheel, right, did you find were instrumental when you first kind of began TRM to now being like the chief mentor and teaching that even you're applying to your business now at 50K a month plus, right? What concepts did you have then that you're still applying now that are so instrumental?
Those are some great questions. Concepts then. So it's funny because they are the same. They're just at a different level. So for example, for metrics, it kind of tied into finance. At the time when we first started, the only metric I was looking at was what income is coming in, right? Obviously, because you got to pay rent, you got to keep the lights on. And now I'm looking at what's coming in and what's going out, but that's almost secondary to how many calls am I pitching per week? Of those, how many am I booking? Of those, how many am I closing? of the calls that I'm on, how many say no, how many say I'll think about it, how many are no shows. And I'm keeping really tight, numbers, because if I look over the course of 3 months that my no show rate is high, I'm going to have to do something about following up with people as soon as they book a call. Or if I'm getting a lot of no's on my sales calls, I'm going to have to change up the system. So it's become so much more granular. The metrics that I'm looking at have become a lot more specific than just, am I making 10K? Am I clearing 20K? It's so much more than that. And then another one was the recharging. I love going on walks with my dogs every day, or Katie and I will go for a walk, but now it's okay. Every quarter we need a solid vacation. We actually need a non-work oriented trip to completely wipe the slate clean and start fresh when we come back.
Well, that's brilliant, Jaime. So would you say metrics and recharging were probably the two that you have been applying a bit more now that your business is, of course, at 50K plus a month? Would you kind of those?
Absolutely. And then, of course, team. But that's not even something I had when I first started my business. So that wasn't on my radar because I was a one-woman show and I was able to make up to about 25K on my own. And then to get to 30, we brought Katie on part-time. And then to get to 50, we got our 2 assistant coaches. So yeah, team is probably the most recent addition that has helped multiply my business from the business wheel.
I love that. I love that. And then when it comes to your offer, because your offer when you first started TRM, was at a certain level. I know we have offer kind of at the very, very top of the model, right? It's kind of the heartbeat, as we know, of our business building, right? And you can have a great sales and marketing, but if you have no really good offer, it can be pointless, right?
Right.
How much has your offer either changed, simplified, or improved from when you first began to where you are now?
It has changed, simplified, and improved, Matthew. Great question. You knew what you were doing with that phrasing. So, back in the day, we talked about the tiers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We had silver, gold, and platinum. I had something called the Inner Outer Strength program, it was a 6-week program, which I introduced about a year into my business. And then I realized, you helped me realize I'm not a $199 a month trainer, and I'm not a $299 a month trainer. I'm an at least $399 a month trainer. But I also felt like even for $399 a month, my platinum plan wasn't doing what it needed to do for people, right? They were like good after 12 weeks. And I wanted a longer LTV for my clients, a long-term value, lifetime value. Sorry. So now I only do the 12-week Inner Outer Strength program because it is training, it's accountability, it's nutrition, it's mindset, it's everything that they need. And then the next 3 months, we can almost exclusively focus on personal training because the mindset, the habit shifts, the identity shifts part has been covered. So now I feel really comfortable only selling my Inner Outer Strength program or my assistant coaches. And that's it.
Okay. What's cool about this, guys, listening is, when Jaime first came into TRM, she had I wouldn't say the word so many offers, but you had quite a few offers, Jaime. Let's face it, right?
Yeah.
And what I love about you shared there is how you simplified your offers and increased your business exponentially in doing that. Yeah. So what I want to kind of share, was kind of cool you share this, Jaime, is that, you actually mentioned, getting her coaches on board, her coach on board to a certain program or your platinum program. Really, I think you only have 3 offers or 2 offers right now, if that.
It's just the Inner Outer Strength. You either work with me on the Inner Outer Strength program or you're working with Katie, Asia, or Abby.
But that's how simple it is. That's why it's so beautiful, is that I think so many coaches, they think I have to have 3 or 6 or 10 different ways to make money. And they're multiplying too early. Yeah. Without building their, and Jaime, you are literally the perfect example of how well you foundationally grew, right? And now you have these just basic few things, right? Then it has allowed you to scale even more. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because just earlier this week, one of my assistant coaches got a price objection. And she said, do you think I could offer something that's a little bit cheaper? And I said, no, But here's why. And I explain that when people are only dropping $199 a month, there's literally no buy-in.
Yeah.
Right. And it's also the people who pay $199 a month, they're demanding the most. Right. My $399, $499 clients are like so easy. They love hearing from me. We have great rapport. My $199s are like pulling teeth to get them to check in, to get them right. There's just, I don't know. There's something about making the investment in yourself and someone who's willing to put their money where their mouth is. So I said all of this to her. And I just, I credit TRM for teaching me all the ways to do it wrong, but letting me figure it out on my own, if that makes sense. Right? Like being someone who accepted $199 for long enough until finally it was just like, I'm worth more.
I love it because you just brought up a wheel concept, Jaime, that you went through is the mindset piece. That was a mindset shift for you too. And, obviously it's one of your specialties that you do in what you coach, right?
Yeah.
Is mindset and anxiety and building confidence with your clients, your niche audience, right?
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. Like as you share it, there's so much, how do I use a word? Calm confidence in you that is not forced. It's very calm. It's like, you know what? This is how we do it. You're not cocky about it. It's like, but it's so cool how you shared it because it is a wheel concept, but you have to go through it to experience that pillar piece.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it also speaks to the other wheel concepts of vision and growth goals. Because a growth goal for me was to spend more time with my wife. Again, whether I'm working or like have my lap tappy hour on vacation is besides the point. For me to grow, I wanted a bigger team. That means I couldn't take on as many people. And of course, my closing rate of a $199 client was quite high because it's not a large investment. So all of the values weren't aligned. So it's not just mindset, but the vision for where I wanted the company to be, my own growth goals for myself and my family, I couldn't keep the same mindset or the other two wouldn't have happened.
That's beautiful, Jaime. It's beautiful because your vision shifted.
Right. Yes. Right. Into more of that CEO role as well versus just being a personal trainer. I wanted to be the owner operator of Filer Fitness.
And that's exactly what you did.
I
love it. So
yeah.
good. So good. Now, I guess we'll talk also about the aspect of like education. Like, you're always finding ways to educate and, go to the events, network, read the books. You're freaking an incredible reader. You're listening to the podcast. That's one thing I always credit you as well too and it's also a pillar of our wheel as well as education, right? But how I love how your niche, you've known it for a couple of years now in TRM, obviously, but you always find ways to improve your skills to serve your niche better and makes you more valuable and more of an authority, right? To your audience.
Absolutely. And again, this speaks, it's so funny, the wheel, and I love that it's a wheel and not a line because a wheel shows a continuity. And also at any given point, like I just said, mindset for me related to vision and growth goals. The idea of continuing education also falls back on my team, right? I can only know so much. So I've decided to make my silo mindset, which is why I've taken on an assistant coach who's specializing in becoming an orthopedic doctor one day, right? She wrote her MCATs. She's going to med school for it. So any broken bones, any injuries, any limitations, any surgeries, they go straight to Abby. Katie, we bought her, and I'm not afraid to say this, a $19,000 mentorship to specifically learn to read labs in order to become a gut and hormone health expert. Not my silo, but continuing education is so important to me. My team is so important to me. I want all of us to be little experts.
It's beautiful. It really just shows how you keep reinvesting into you, Katie, your team, but it's always tailored to the vision.
Totally. Always, always, always. And again, making sure that whatever the coaches are learning feels right to them. If she wasn't going into med school to become an orthopedic doctor, I wouldn't make her take like the barbell rehab certification. Her choice, her niche, right? That's fine. I'm not going to make her go to the Tony Robbins course because that's not what she wants. And that's okay.
But that's beautiful, Gene, because you know what's nice about that is because you're clear on the vision and your growth goals and what you want to go with it, you make decisions for the future growth based on that clarity, right?
Absolutely.
And that's
Yep.
beautiful because it comes back to your wheel and you've got this mentorship for hormones and gut health for Katie because you want her to become better at that niche.
Yep.
Perfect. So you're prepared to invest the money. That makes complete sense. You wouldn't have her go on a date with Destiny because it wouldn't make any sense for her. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like Tony, that just isn't aligned. So, which goes into when coaches are listening to this, when you look at the wheel, whether you're in TRM or you aren't in TRM, but you should be in TRM, obviously, is small plug. Is looking at, okay, if you look at, that's why you have offer and vision on the top and the bottom, right? This vision is holding everything up and the offer is on the top because the offer filters all the way down.
Absolutely.
The reason we have the top and the bottom like that. So you're like literally everything you just shared reinforces that because now the pieces on the outside of the wheel filter into both concepts.
Absolutely. And I think, the way that we've divided it top and bottom, we can also look at it left to right. And I don't think this was done purposely on your part. The left side is strategy and the right side is psychology.
I never even knew that till now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've got mindset, community, growth, continuing education, and finance. That's all up here.
Oh my gosh.
But metrics, marketing, sales, systems, that's all strategy.
You're so good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you are hilarious. Okay, yeah, everybody's doing that actually. Well, I guess I figured it out.
You're brilliant without even trying, Matthew.
I appreciate you saying that. I'm like, I just didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I honestly that was kind of funny. But now community.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yep.
We'll talk about that for a second. So of course, community was one of the other not pillars, but business wheel concepts.
Yeah.
This is probably the one, funny enough, and I'll like hear your thoughts here, that is literally like that infusion tool to expand your mind, to keep you, because, one of a human need is connection, right? Is whether you're with other people who are like-minded, you're part of groups, you go to network events and network with people, you're part of real estate, you do multiple things. If you don't have those other people who inspire you or level you up or number one, support you or believe in you, it does change the game a bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Who you surround yourself with is everything. So I think community can be divided into, as a business owner, as a CEO, as a human being, who are you spending time with? But then we could go the route of how are you fostering a sense of community within your business as well, right? Are you doing group calls? Are you doing monthly community calls? Do you have a Facebook group? Do you have a WhatsApp group chat for your higher level clients? But I definitely think that everyone should have a group, should be surrounded by a group of people who are smarter, wealthier, more successful, right? Because to some people, wealth doesn't necessarily equal success, but however you define success, go have a group of people for whom you are the lowest one.
It's funny, Jane, actually, I got a message from Tiny T about a month ago.
Yeah.
When she first came back into our platinum calls. And she asked me, she says, Mathew, she said, I really, I'm doing 20 plus K a month, but I feel uncomfortable in your platinum calls. Everyone's so high level. Like the questions you ask, and I'm like, welcome to the club. And but we do it in a very professional way that helps you level up.
Absolutely.
Like there's one piece, Jim, I would like to share if I could is who you're around, but also who's in your circle that you should be spending less time with.
Yeah.
Who are the energy drainers, energy suckers? I know it's very bold, but it's the truth. Let's face it, right? That's also part of community.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I think because the other thing that's important, I mean, sometimes, Mathew, I think you taught this to me, or I don't remember where I heard this concept. I just assume that everything I've learned comes from you. So let's just put it that way. Sometimes it is easier when either starting a business or even starting your fitness journey to remove rather than to add, right? Like for some of our clients, if they're drinking Coke, just for example, it's easier for us to say, can you replace the Coke with, or can you just take out Coke instead of saying, can you add more vegetables? Can you start tracking your macros? Can you go on a 10,000 step walk every day? It's just, hey, this food's really shitty for you. Let's just take it out.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't have to say, go find a networking group, go find a Facebook group for young professionals, this and that. We'll just say, hey, there's an energy vampire in your life. Can you just spend less time with them?
That was so well said. And that it's so funny you mentioned the word remove, because it could be one relationship, one person, one friend, one whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And it just takes one, Jaime.
Yeah.
Right. One person. It's funny because in TRM, of course, we always, put ourselves around, of course, so I'll be very frank with this. And I'm sure you've probably noticed before too, Jaime, is that when we grow and bring our community together in TRM, we want growth-minded individuals in TRM. Like that's ultimately what we're being bold. Like that's what we want.
Yep.
If you're coming to TRM just to get a quick buck, you probably should go somewhere else.
Right.
So when you're growth-minded and you want to grow and you're evolving and you're stretching, you're in the right place in TRM. That's who we think, right?
Yep.
I think that having that also in the community, whether it's your own business, whether it's your friend circle, whether it's your TRM, whatever it is, I think is also important to keep in mind is that mindset of community.
Yeah. Yep. I think, Isaac, I don't want to go into his share yesterday on our core meeting, but it was quite vulnerable. It was quite emotional. But at the end of the day, it came down to, what he's learned in TRM has given him tools to overcome. Right. He references his military background constantly. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but those were his brothers, right? They became his family. So again, I've heard my friends who are police officers reference it, the force the same way. So I think in anything in life, it's important to be surrounded by a community. TRM is an incredible one because again, we can uplift you financially, physically, because again, we're all trainers, and emotionally as well. But join a CrossFit gym, right? Boom, instant community. So that is an advantage to TRM is you have automatic friends, you have automatic colleagues. So yeah, that's super important.
And there's no egos in the room, Jaime.
No.
And that's something I think is so cool with our community is that, when you have these performers who want to win in life, want to win in their business, want to win with their families, but there's no ego. There's so much collaboration happening. We're seeing Instagram lives with Jason, Isaac, or Josh and Lauren, or you and Alvin, or whichever's happening. It's so freaking amazing. It's beautiful to see those things. And I'll just share this personally from my end. I was telling this to Laurent and actually when we were training at the gym. I said, I was training away and I had this revelation as I was thinking about, as I moved to Grand Cayman here in a couple of weeks. I had this revelation about even my own growth in TRM, seeing a TRM, is that it brings me so much joy to see, you, Jaime, Laurent, others in TRM go and win and succeed in their life and their business. That is literally the gift for me. And I was telling this to Laurent. I was like, dude, do you remember where you were over 2 years ago, man? Like where you are? Do you even recognize the person you were 2.5 years ago?
Yeah.
No, it's like, it's almost, who is that person? So which you refer to in old and new version of you talking to TRM about that, right?
Sure, for sure. And again, that speaks to your growth goals. That speaks to the vision of you. It speaks to the vision of the company. What I like, and we can tie this back into the community aspect as well, is when you hear other people's wins. And again, I can speak to CrossFit or TRM. And then you see people winning ahead of you. You don't want to be at the bottom. So you do what you can to do better and be better for your team. But then whomever's sitting at the bottom, they elevate because now they no longer wish to be at the bottom. And it's almost like no one's ever at the bottom because everyone, I use the word compete, but it's not in an aggressive or offensive way. It's just you have no choice but to level up when you're in this group. You can't help but be better.
When you choose to level up.
Sure,
right?
Of course.
I think to be very, very fair, Jaime, is that, we love to pull our members up. Like when you go like this, we want to pull the next person up. Like, let's come up here with us, But if they make a decision to drink, go, take him to the pond, drink the water like the horse, like that's their choice, right? And that's something that we can't ultimately control, right, James? To be very frank with everybody on the call. But when you're ready for that commitment level, let's go. We're going to show you opportunity. Like, look where you've come in 4.5 years. My goodness, 1.5K to 50K plus. Your vacation with your wife, really almost every week, for Pete's sake. Plus you're running your own business, your own coaches, you're mentoring, you're teaching TRM, you're mentoring our clients. I don't know how you feel like you're tired. Honestly, I have no idea how you do it. Like, what you do is so unique. It's maybe it's one of your superpowers that you do, but I honestly, when I have one thing, I'm good. When I have 3 things, that's just a whole different conversation.
I appreciate that. But again, we could do a part 2, because time management is also one of the pillars on the business wheel.
Why don't we anything else you want to share, Tim, before we kind of round out this today's training or podcast?
I think you said it best at the beginning of the call. You said, there are 4 things you do really well and 4 things that need improvement. There are maybe 20 things on the business wheel, about 20 pillars.
15.
Don't focus on 20 pillars. Focus on, pat yourself on the back for 3 that you're doing really well, and then just try to keep doing them. And then take a look at the 3 that you're either not doing, like if you're not measuring metrics at all, or the 3 that could be going better if you're measuring your metrics, but it's inconsistent. Don't try to take on all of the business wheel at once.
And guys, Jamie's bang on. What you could also do is just join TRM Gold, because we'll go through 6 months of TRM and we take all the concepts and go through them layer by layer by layer, right? So just a little thought.
That's an option too, for sure. Yeah.
I love it. James, we're such a freaking, it's funny whenever we talk together, because our concepts are so, they're like this, like wave together, like a weave.
Yeah. I get it. I love it, Mathew. Thank you for such an epic podcast.
And thank you for your gold nuggets, as you always do, James. So maybe I'll try closing off today's episode if you're cool with that. I'll give it a go.
Let's hear it.
So guys, this is the TRM show, guys. And obviously the pressure's on Jamie, of course. Follow us at TRM Multiplier, at TRM Multiplier. Follow us at Jaime91, at mindset_Mathew. If you liked our show, screenshot us. Share us on your Instagram stories. If you want more information, go to TRMMultiplier.com. We're here for you if you want to grow your business and schedule a free call with us. Just go to our site, check us out. We're here for you. As always, Jamie, we appreciate you. We love you. You're a rock star, and high five. Let's go.
You got it, man.
Was that good?
So good.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, guys, have a good one.
Bye, Matt.